He briefly worked for President Trump, and now he says Trump's supporters are a cult. Anthony Scaramucci is here with me for a chat about all of that and much more. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Wasn't that brief, by the way. I mean, it was 11 days in the White House, but it was about 9 months during the campaign and the transition.
That's true.
But,
you were working at Fox as a commentator, as a host, and then you had to sever that relationship to go over to the transition team.
I was hosting Wall Street Week, and so when I was announced on the transition team, I had to pull the hosting job from that.
How much has Fox News changed, do you think, in the Trump years?
I don't necessarily think that it's changed. I think that there's certain news commentators on Fox that have made a decision that they're in the tank for the president. And so whatever he's doing, they have sort of like the Fox News kaleidoscope. They'll shift this kaleidoscope to sort of make the colors paint in a way that makes the president look well. And so a couple of commentators have decided to do that. And, what are you going to do? There's other commentators. Shepard Smith, as you know, left the channel. Judge Napolitano, I think they've been a little bit more balanced, a little bit more objective. But I think there's elements of a business model there, Brian, where they're galvanizing a lot of viewers. Your last panel really did describe it. The president's always felt like an outsider. And so when you're an outsider, you're susceptible to conspiracy theories. And it's one of the main reasons why he brought somebody in like Mayor Giuliani to sort of run that shadow system, because he always felt like he was outside of the system. And I think that's where a lot of the problems have come in for the president.
And when you say that Trump supporters belong to a cult, and maybe some of those Fox commentators then belong to the cult, what's your evidence? Why say a word like that?
Well, okay, so if you go to my Twitter feed, I put out the 10 things that you could look at to see if you yourself are in a cult, okay? And what are those 10 things? Someone's blatantly lying to you, and you're accepting those lies as truth. Number two, they're suggesting suggesting that they're the only person that is telling the truth. Everyone else, Brian Stelter is an example, all of CNN, MSNBC, they're all telling lies, but the cult leader himself is telling the truth. Third thing, and I think this is the most important thing, you're disaffected. There's a disaffection. The president did capitalize on that, and I actually wrote in my book, The Blue Collar President, that there is a vacuum of advocacy for white blue-collar workers over the last 3 decades, and that was malpractice by both establishment Republicans and establishment Democrats. And so he exploited that. And this is the reason why, even though his policies have failed those people, he still represents an avatar for their anger. And so they're going to stick with him until the spell breaks.
You have predicted, though, that the president's not going to last much longer, that he's going to resign or
Yeah, I
be
think
removed.
there's an overwhelming cascade of evidence. And so this week will be the starting of that waterfall. It's one thing when things are behind closed doors and you're doing an investigation. It's another thing when it's open theater and you can actually see the rank lawlessness of what's gone on and the lack of constitutionality in the process with the president. And I think it's not just a Ukrainian call. There will be other elements of this story that unfold where people will say, okay, wait a minute, there's a combination of incompetence, there's a combination of a destruction of the executive branch of the United States, in addition to the lawlessness and traitorous-like behavior. So
Traitorous-like behavior?
there's